to Murder and Everything Else. My name is Joy.
And my name is Cheryl. Joy and I are two very old friends who love to talk about murder and everything else.
And this week, it's going to be everything else. Cheryl, I was in Atlanta last weekend, Atlanta, Georgia, and I realized that I have flown through Atlanta multiple times, but I had never actually been to Atlanta to hang out. And it is a really, really cool town.
Is it? I was there a long time ago on a job.
How long time ago?
Early 2000.
Oh, wow. Well,
Yeah.
Well, maybe it was starting to get really cool, but it is such a cool town. And the downtown area is so beautiful. They have this amazing bougie mall that my kid and I went to. Anyway, we were there for a volleyball competition, so that was really fun. And we went early because we had a snowstorm, so we were trying to get away from the snow. So anyway, it was great. It was great fun. We did a little eating out, met up with my cousin, his wife, and their youngest child. We watched volleyball games. We went to this really huge thrift store called Value Village, which I've seen a lot of people do on videos and stuff like that. And it's huge. And I actually walked out with this big bag of thrifted clothes. So, and when we went to the super bougie mall, I didn't buy a single thing. And my kid didn't buy a single thing either. We walked out empty-handed. So, You know what? Maybe the times they are a-changing.
I guess. Maybe something, did you have a fever?
I got a fever. Anyway, guys, I have an update today on an episode we did recently. It was the Ruby Frankie American Vlogger episode. Hulu has new documentary drama reality TV series that is out. It's called Devil in the Family: The Fall of Ruby Frankie. And the first season is available and it's 3 episodes. It is for the first time, Sherry and Chad, the Frankie's 2 eldest children, and Kevin, Ruby's husband, will share their story in depth on camera. One of the things that has also happened is there's a lot of little snippets from this that have popped up on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts and on TikTok videos. And Kevin Frankie talks about how he is trying to distance himself from being an active participant in the abuse that his wife was perpetrating on the children. But it's a little bit hard to believe because when you live in a house, okay, first of all, they had 6 children, right?
Mm-hmm.
I only have 2 children, but I can tell you that as a family, we did so many things. You do so many things together. It would be really hard to do something like this, especially with all the cameras around. Because remember, she was vlogging.
Yeah,
I have a really hard time believing that he didn't know.
Right. I mean, you have to really be distant from your family emotionally and physically to not notice anything. I just find that unbelievable too.
They have exclusive access to the Frankies, their neighbors and friends, and over 1,000 hours of their YouTube channel's unseen video. So anyone who listened to that, who's interested in this, go check it out. It says that 1 season is available, so it kind of makes me wonder if they're going to have more than 1 season. And the other thing I wanted to talk about is there is a family in New York City, and they have, I think, 10 kids or 12 kids. It's called the Happy Caravan on Instagram. It's the De Lamont family, and they now have a show on TLC. It's called Big City, Big Family. But apparently, what happened was their oldest daughter got into Juilliard, and because they're conservative Christian fundamentalists, they moved their whole family from California to New York City to be near her because they were concerned about her going off to the city and being influenced negatively. And they're very open about their rent costing $12,000 a month. And one of the ways they pay for this is, and their lifestyle there is, they get their kids out. All their children are amazing musicians. They play cello, violin, viola, you name it. They get them outside and they busk for money, and they throw a hat out and people put money in there. So it's so interesting because I feel like on one hand, we have all these families that are coming under scrutiny for kind of exploiting their kids on YouTube channels, and the kids don't have any rights. And yet we've got channels like TLC that are releasing new shows with families that are kind of like, like the Duggars, where they have like train wreck number of children doing crazy things like pushing their kids out in the snow and making them busk, so that they can pay $12,000 rent when they
That's
didn't
great.
really need to move to Manhattan. So I just feel like this is 2025. Why are we still train wrecking it out on TLC?
Right? Yeah, that's crazy. And they actually get enough donations to
Yeah,
afford that kind of rent. Why? Why would people?
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure somebody else in the family has to have a job. I do know that she has had an Instagram and YouTube account, so she must get some money also from that revenue stream.
How many
So
subscribers did you say did you
it's a
say they have?
on Instagram, they have over 225,000 subscribers, it looks like. It's a family of 13. And
Wow.
the girls all dress like Little House on the Prairie, La Casa de la Pradera, which is Little House on the Prairie in Spanish. And the parents seem very young to me. Like maybe they started having kids when they were like 18 or 19. Like they're very young. You have to go check it out, Cheryl. The mom is giving like trad wife kind of vibes. So
It
yeah.
sounds like the Turpin family, but hopefully
Yeah. Without the weird bowl cut.
Okay, yeah.
Anyway, Cheryl, you got any updates?
Well, first of all, my co-host pointed out to me that on the last episode, I said, don't confuse passion for violence. Is that what I said? I have to do an update because I feel so stupid. Obviously, if you heard that, I meant violence for passion. Okay. Also, it started to warm up here in Arizona and I am sneezing. So I'm going to try to mute before I have to sneeze. But if one sneaks out, I apologize. My eyes are getting itchy and I'm starting to sneeze. So it's already warming up here.
Allergy season. So you know what's interesting, Cheryl? I get allergies when it gets really cold.
That is so weird.
And my husband's like you. He gets allergies when it warms up and the pollen gets stirred up.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's so fascinating when it gets really cold. The inside of my nose, I don't know if it's allergies or just cold, but it gets all raw inside and then like it hurts.
Oh, I think that's just from the cold. Are you sneezing?
I don't know.
No, I think that's just red from the cold. Yeah.
Well, I have to tell you, it's in the 70s today, and that makes me so happy. So happy. It's going to be warm soon, guys, soon. And by soon, I mean it could be a month. It could be a couple of weeks. It could be a month and a half. Here's what happens when March rolls around. I know it's going to be hot soon. Soon. I can like smell it. And guess what? I'm already starting to crack out my summer things. I'm not going to put the winter things away yet because I know I've learned after 13 years, there can always be a freak snowstorm in March.
You're probably,
But
yeah, you don't want to jinx anything by bringing out your
mhm,
summer clothes. It's
right.
so funny. I went online and I read up on North Carolina weather, and because somebody was going to move there and they said, what should I know about the weather? And people were like, you can have all four seasons in the same week.
Yep. It's true. It's so nice though. I love not having to wear like bulky coats. I love taking all of the winter things and packing them away and bringing out the summer things. And I love, 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 love. I know it sounds crazy, but I love having to shave the legs and like buff them out and, you know, clean it up.
Spit shine
Anyway,
'em.
that's right. Spit shine. Rolling into shout outs. I have a shout out for all those listeners who saw my TikTok video where I was wearing my Murder and Everything Else Flashdance inspired cut off the shoulder hoodie and decided to give our little podcast a whirl. Thank you. And then a shout out to all our OG listeners. I also want to bring attention to the two Spotify listeners that recently unsubscribed. We used to have 89 Spotify subscribers. We're down to 87. I don't know who you are. I don't know if we pissed you off. I don't know. Maybe you stopped paying for Spotify and that's what happened there. I do know Netflix recently had a price increase. So maybe you were trying to cut back. But, um, you know what? Like, send us a comment if you don't like what you hear or you kind of fed up or whatever, so we can like hear something from you. Don't just delete us. Ugh. Anyway, Cheryl, you got any shout outs?
I do. I have a shout out to people who rescue pets. I was at the vet
Aw,
yesterday with Callie as she got her fluids for her renal
for
failure.
weekly breastfeeding.
Yeah. And there was a lady there who had a new dog. She just got it. She rescued it the day before from a shelter that was going to euthanize it. And it's perfectly fine. Such a sweet dog. And
Aw,
yeah, so I give a shout out to people who rescue. Adopt, don't shop. I mean, I understand people have like they want their full breeds and whatnot, but there's a lot of dogs, and she doesn't know me, so she doesn't know not to tell me these kind of stories. Like every time Joy is going to tell me something that's going to remain swirling around in my head, and I'm not going to be able to get the image out of my head. I always like put my fingers in my ears and I'm like, la 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 la, you can't tell me this story, stop right now. Well, the lady doesn't know me, so she told me that the dog that she rescued was left in a house when the people moved, and I
aw,
don't understand how you can do that. I just don't understand how you can move and leave the animal in there and close the door. I just don't. She doesn't know how long the animal was in there, but the dog looks really great and it's so sweet. It just wanted love from everybody.
aw.
But yeah, this unfortunately the shelter it was at, and it was in California, was not a no-kill shelter. I mean, I understand there's issue with space. I rescued Jet. He had 1 week left before he was going to be euthanized, and now that shelter that I got him from in California is no longer. It's a no-kill shelter now.
Hmm.
So, but anyway, yeah, try to rescue. There's so many unwanted animals out there.
Yeah, guys. And on that note, I also want to just throw out there if anyone's looking for a German Shepherd puppy, I know people who are selling them. Okay. Guys, this week we are going to take a little break from some of that heavy murder, mayhem, crime spree genre. And Cheryl and I are going to play a little game, and it's called Never Have I Ever. And I'm going to ask some Never Have I Ever questions, and then Cheryl's going to tell us whether or not she's done those things. And maybe there'll be a little story in there. Who knows?
Maybe,
Maybe.
or
Or she'll take the fifth. All right. So I'm going to start with number one.
okay.
Cheryl,
I'm scared. Can I just say I'm scared?
never have I ever been on a blind date.
I have never.
What?
Not. Yeah, I have
Are you
never.
serious?
Yes.
Wow. That's kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
I have no story for you, but something tells me you have one.
Well, I got to just preface this with I went to a weird, like, Christian school that was kind of bordered on fundamentalism. So they would have these things called reverse weekends where the girls would ask the boys out instead of the other way around
Reverse.
because it was assumed that only boys ask girls out. Now remember, guys, this was in the late 80s, early 90s. So
in the 1800s when we did
exactly.
not have LGBTQ.
This was a while ago. Yeah, there was no, equality back then. But anyway, misogyny was alive and well. If you think it's bad now, guess what? Head back to the 80s. And so, you know what I would do sometimes, Cheryl? I would just randomly pick a guy and ask him out. Like, I wouldn't even be interested in him to date. I would just pick somebody who seemed like they might be fun or like to go out and have a meal or do something or go to a movie or maybe they wanted to make out. Yeah. And then I'd just ask them out and see if they'd say yes or no. One guy said no because you used to date a friend of mine and that doesn't look right. Another guy said yes, and my friends came to the date and threw popcorn at us behind in the movie.
Oh, you talked about this on a different episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes it worked out great and we had fun, and sometimes it was a disaster.
Well, now, do you consider that a blind date? I don't.
Well, yeah, because the guys didn't know that I was going to ask them out. They just thought I was the friendly person they saw at school.
Okay, that's not a blind date.
A blind date? You mean like a setup?
Yeah, that's what a blind date is. You've never seen them. You don't know them. Somebody just like, send me to a restaurant.
Too. I did that too.
Of course you did. And how did that go?
But we're not gonna talk. Well, it was great, but he lived in another state. So.
Oh, okay. Well,
and when he got on the plane and left, I never saw him again after that.
Yeah, but were you pleased when you saw him? Did you have good conversation?
Oh yeah, he was cute. I don't know if we did a lot of talking.
Okay. All right. That's the Joy's gonna have a lot she's gonna have a lot of and something else in her story. Okay.
All right. Number 2. Never have I ever lived alone.
Oh, I've lived alone more than I've lived with anyone.
Oh my God, that's crazy. That's crazy.
And you are never.
I have never lived alone. So
wow, that's incredible.
So now we're 1 and 1 because you get 1 for never have I ever, and I get 1 for never have I lived alone. By the way, I am tallying. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Why? And now, why is that? Do you think that you've never lived alone?
Because I am a highly codependent psychiatric mess. I'm what the psychiatric community likes to refer to as the hot mess. Or as they say in French, le hot mess.
Le hot mess.
Or as they say in Spanish, un mes caliente.
Well, I think we get it. We get it. Well, I'm here to attest that living alone is not a sign of one's mental stability, okay?
Phew. I know you're going to think I know people are going to think I'm crazy, those of you who have lived alone or like living alone. But what do you do when you want to talk to somebody? And I don't mean when you're on the phone with me, because obviously that happens a lot. But I mean, like, what if you want to tell somebody something? Like, I don't know what I don't know what I would do. Like, I'm not kidding you. If I found myself alone, I would have to run out and get some roommates.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, you don't, that's why you have pets. They can't talk back, but you can
They
talk to them.
can't talk back. Oh my
That's what
God.
the phone,
I,
that's what the phone is for. And now we have,
nobody talks on the phone
FaceTime.
anymore, except
We
for
have
me.
FaceTime and all this other stuff. You can actually see people while you talk if you want to do that.
Hmm.
No, I get it though, but like when you come home from the day and somebody's there that you can just kind of, run your day by, or if something happened on the way home, you can share it with them right away. I get it. I get it.
Do you find yourself talking to yourself?
I think I do that regardless if I'm by myself or not.
That's funny. I would love to hear from those of you who live alone or those of you who've never lived alone. If anyone out there is so inclined, email us or text us or whatever. We're on so many socials. I added Facebook back because we lost subscribers. So go to Facebook Messenger. Who cares? I want to hear. I want to hear what that's like. I don't know. I have had roommates that I felt like I was living alone because they were like quiet and unresponsive. But
um,
the best kind of roommates, ooh, so I just have to tell you, I was roommates with my friend Tara for at least 3 or 4 years that
wow.
I can remember. And she was the very best roommate. First of all, I followed her around all the time and talked to her. She's kind of like Maria.
Do
And
you think she'd be
she,
saying the same thing about you, that
oh
you were
yeah,
the best
because
roommate?
I like to cook and she didn't like to cook. And I got to tell you,
Oh,
that is
that's
like the
big.
very best combination. If you don't like to cook, to have a roommate that likes to cook.
Yeah,
But I
I'd
would
say.
follow her around and talk to her. And she was so nice. She would either laugh at things I said or she would just nod her head. Like, so nice. So nice. Not very chatty.
So polite, Tara, to at
So
least
polite. She
acknowledge.
would let me leave the door open in the bathroom when I would go to the bathroom so I could talk to her from the
Oh
toilet.
my God.
She would let me pee while she was brushing her teeth so that I could keep talking to her while she had her toothbrush in her mouth that she couldn't answer. That's the very best kind of
Wow.
roommate.
I'd really love to hear from Tara.
Tara, if you're listening to this, you need to check in with us. All right. Okay, number 4. Sorry, number 3. Never have I ever won the lottery or a raffle of some sort.
I remember, I remember in Hawaii when I was a kid, there were these local guys that had a TV show, sort of like um, it was sort of like a Mr. Rogers, Sesame Street, like one of these kid shows. And they were called Checkers and Pogo. And God, if anybody from Hawaii is listening to this, you have to write in. I haven't thought about these people forever, but it was in my mind. I don't know if this is accurate, but in my memory, they sort of looked like a Gilligan and Skipper.
Oh
That's how
God.
I remember them. I'm probably wrong. I could look it up on the internet, but it's more fun just to have this picture in my head. And they were doing some kind of like public like event, and they had a raffle where I was really young. Like I'd have to ask my sister because she probably remembers, but I want to say under 10. And they had a raffle. You know how you can get a gift basket or whatever. They had a raffle to meet Checkers and Pogo
Mm.
and have lunch with them. And yeah, and I won it. And I remember
What?
like being so shocked, and I peanut butter and jelly sandwich is stuck in my head. I'm probably completely wrong. I'm probably wrong with the age. I'm probably wrong with what we ate. But I do remember that. And maybe this was just some dream, some fever dream, but
Huh.
that's what I remember. And I swear to God, you feel like, I mean, I felt like I won the lottery at that time when your name is called.
Yeah.
I don't know how many kids. Yeah, I'm gonna have to verify with that with my sister. She'll probably say, I don't know what you're talking about. That never happened.
That's like, you know, when you would watch like those award shows like the Grammys, they'd be like, you can win 2 tickets to the Grammys in LA if you are the 100th caller. And I always used to think that's some crazy bullshit. They're not going to send you to the Grammys. And I remember meeting someone who won one of those, and they were flown across the country to Los Angeles. They were put up in a nice hotel. They had a car that picked them up and took them to the Grammys. And they
Oh,
didn't
wow.
get to, yeah, they didn't like sit in the Grammys, but they got to sit like in this balcony area that was reserved for winners of like these call-in shows or whatever. And they got to wear like a fancy gown, and they schlepped them around LA and took them on a tour of like the Hollywood sign and blah, blah, blah. And I just
Oh,
remember being so surprised that it was an actual thing. So I believe that that really happened. I will say this is not anywhere like a lottery or uh, something like your show, because that was like a couple of celebrities. But when I was a teenager, my mom's company had this company-wide picnic, and it was a big hospital, and it was called St. Helena Hospital and Health Center. And they had rehab programs, and it was a hospital, and they had all these different, you know, things. It was like a wellness center too. And they had raffles. And I won something at that picnic 3 summers in a row. They would randomly put everybody who came, all the children and adults. The first year it was a gold watch, and it was really pretty. And I remember being so mesmerized by this watch because it was like so beautiful. And then the next year I won something else that was like a
wait, you won the
blender.
gold? You won the gold watch?
Yeah, I won a gold watch. I can't tell you what happened to it. The next year I won like a blender or some shit like that. And the third year it was some other kitchen appliance. And I remember being so disappointed because they had those yellow Sony Walkmans, and I wanted that.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I remember those.
Yeah,
Remember those?
and I remember being, because we had the generic cheap poor people Walkman, and I remember being so upset that it was a kitchen appliance, and of course I just gave it to my grandma. I was like, oh, I don't want this toaster oven. But it was the closest thing to winning like a lottery raffle. And I remember my family saying, "Oh, you have to bring Joy with you because she wins something every summer." And my brother and my sister being pissed because I was winning these raffle prizes.
You're
So
the
that was
Joy
kind of,
Luck Club.
yeah, that was kind of exciting.
How
Right.
old were you?
The first summer, I think I was like 14 and 15
Oh,
and then 16. Yeah. So it was
that's
pretty
cool.
cool. So anyway, number 4. Never have I ever kissed more than one person in a 24-hour period.
And kiss, you mean like romantic kiss?
Right. Yeah, I don't mean kiss your uncle or kiss your dad. Come on, jeez.
Well, okay, I'm holding back a sneeze. I'm gonna, I've been on this earth for 60 years, so I can't remember every single incident in my life, but I'm gonna take a pretty good guess and say no.
What?
No.
Oh.
In a 24-hour period, kiss someone
N-
romantic, two different people, at least two different, more than one person romantically,
Oh.
right?
Wait, did you ever go out with more than one person on a weekend?
No, I don't think so.
Oh. Huh.
Not that I'm going to be like I'm on the stand in a criminal trial, and this is my answer. Not that I can recall. Not that I can recall.
Wow. All right.
You're
Number
like
5.
you're like there wasn't a weekend that went by that I wasn't with more than one person.
That's right. I had one of those little like clicker things, where they letting people in the club. So click, click.
Counter. Oh,
I remember one weekend when I was like in my 20s, I was living in Calistoga with Tara, and I had 3 dates lined up with 3 different guys. I mean, in all fairness, I was single. So I was dating around, but I remember having a date on Friday night, a date on Saturday night, and a date on Sunday night. And I remember the best date I had set up for Saturday night. And the one I wasn't really that interested was for the Sunday night. And then Friday night was kind of so. Because also remember, as a single girl, like, when you would get asked out on a date, there was also like dinner involved, so
Something
that was
else.
a weekend. That was a weekend I didn't have to pay for groceries.
Oh my God.
All right, roll it on. Number 5. Never have I ever regifted a gift.
Ooh. I want to say, I can't remember specifically, but somewhere in the recesses of my mind, I feel like I might have. Yeah, I'm going to be truthful and say, but I can't remember the exact thing, but I feel like I did. I'm gonna have to let me stew on that for a second while you tell us how many gifts you regifted.
Oh my God, I do it all the time. First of all,
I think I've only done it once, maybe.
Cheryl, I cannot believe you're having to actually think about this. First of all, the most amazing, there's 2 things that have happened in the 25 years that I stand firmly behind. And one is the gift card. I stand behind the gift card.
I love gift cards.
Everyone can use a gift card. And if it's for a restaurant or store that you are never going to go to, you can even re-gift the gift card. Okay. So I stand.
Wait. Okay, hold on. Can I just say the reason that I would hesitate to do that is if something happened with the card, like the money wasn't loaded on it, the credit wasn't loaded on it, and they said something, and I'd be like, oh, well, I guess you could just say, oh, I'll get you another. I don't know. I'm just honest. I'm too honest.
Well, the second thing I stand behind is the gift receipt / leave the ticket on the item, because then you can take it back to the store and return it. Because the other thing I stand behind is no matter who the gift is for or what it is, I always say to the person, you can always take it back to the store and return it if it's not your style or something that you'll wear or something that you like, because everybody's style is different. So for regifting a gift, that's Cheryl and Joy. Rolling on to number 6.
I should get a half a point for that. Honestly, I can't remember.
I know. Okay, never have I ever had a one-night stand.
I have never.
What?
I have never.
Jesus.
Not that I can remember.
I don't know what kind of Alzheimer's right now, but I feel like saying I can't remember is the new pleading the fifth. Like, I don't know. Maybe I have a really good memory, but I can remember all these things.
No, I haven't. That I can remember. Okay, wow. Tell us how many for you. Wait, for me,
I don't know. Like, I've never. I take the 5th.
Oh, okay. Well, that says a lot right there.
That says nothing. It says that I'm exercising my judicial prerogative.
So wait a minute. We're getting points if we've done it.
If the glove fits, you must acquit. All right. That one doesn't count.
Okay, that's a wash. All right.
That's a wash. All right, number
Okay.
7. Never have I ever snooped through someone's stuff.
Oh, I have.
You have?
Uh-huh.
Ooh, I want to hear the story.
Oh, I'm sure I've snooped through old boyfriends or boyfriends at the time. I know I've snooped through their stuff
Sock
to
drawer?
see like their old girlfriend, pictures and stuff like that. Yeah, I have. I'm
Oh,
guilty. Guilty. I know
wow.
you are. I know that all these questions you have.
Okay, this is true
There's
story, guys. I've only snooped once.
come
Only,
on.
yeah, only once.
I
So,
don't believe that.
nope, only
I
once.
don't believe that. Mm-mm.
Yep, only once. And you know what? I have never, yeah, I've only snooped once, and it was somebody I was dating in college, and I knew he was dating other girls, and I looked through some of his mail, and I found proof, and I collected my things, and I left, and I never went back. And um, he came looking for me several times and asked me what I was doing and tried to sweet talk his way back into things. And I never gave in because I realized at that point that if I did, I would just think badly of myself. So
Yeah,
I
good for
never, that
you.
was the only time I ever did. And you know what else is really interesting? When I have broken up with somebody when I was single, I never would go back together with that person. Like when it was over, it was always over. I know it's very common to break up, get back together, break up, get back together, but
Yeah,
I always felt like, if you're breaking up, it's
there's a
probably,
reason.
yeah, it probably needs to be over. And yeah, I would just never look back. And I mean, like, even if it was a short relationship or a long relationship, I just couldn't ever go back there. I just felt like all the reasons, like I would always be back with that person and thinking about why had I gotten back together with them if I'd broken up. So yeah, I
Yeah,
I also felt like there once you snoop in someone's stuff, you can't take that back. You can't go back from it. You always know that you snooped. And it is a violation of trust,
hmm
you know?
Um,
Even if
yeah,
they don't know, the that's always in your mind that you violated the trust that they placed in you.
true. I don't feel that guilty about it though.
Well, I don't either anymore. And I was obviously justified because he had been cheating. And it turns out he wasn't cheating on me with like one person. I think he was cheating on me with like 5 or 6 people. I mean, I don't even know how this guy had enough time in his day to get
Right.
his like to get all that action because it was like I mean, I would have been exhausted.
I know of a story real quick. Someone I knew. I didn't know this person directly, but he was seeing two different women, and he would see one during the week and one on the weekend for years. For years.
What?
Now, how he managed to do that without the other one, like asking, "Hey, how come I never spend any weekends with you?" Or the other one, like, "How come I never get to see you on the weekdays?" And then I asked, I'm like, "What?" So, and they had never been to his place. He would always go to theirs, and I'm thinking, but
Wow.
don't you, the women never drop by? If you're seeing someone, right, you might just drop by one day. And he managed to do it for a long time. And then I guess he finally decided on one of them because he married, I don't know if it was the weekday girl or the weekend girl, but he married one of them. And
Wow.
I wish her well. I wish her a lot of luck. Well, this is 20 years ago or something, so who knows? Yeah,
Wow. I would be worried that I would like roll over in bed and say the wrong girl.
right, right. Well, what did you do that one weekend when you had three different?
Ha ha ha.
Tell
Hey,
us, tell us how you managed it.
maybe we just went out for movies and Taco Bell. What makes
and
you think it
something
was more?
else, and something else. Oh
All
gosh.
right,
Okay.
rolling on to number 8. Never have I ever peed in a pool.
Oh gosh. I'm not going to try to seem like I'm, of course, who hasn't? That's what I want to know.
Ew, that's
Joy?
disgusting.
Shut up, Joy.
Are you kidding? I pee in the pool all the I still do it now. I remember going to a pool somewhere and someone saying, they put this stuff in the pool that when you pee, like all the water around you turns purple. And I was like, uh-oh. And I remember looking down and swimming in a circle and going, oh, oh no. But the water was not purple. And I was like, they lied to me. Those
Oh
liars.
gosh.
I mean, the
How
fact of
funny.
the matter is they put the chlorine in there to kill the pee germs, right?
Right, exactly.
I
I
mean,
don't
and
think
also
that's
there is
all.
so much other shit in a pool besides just pee.
Yeah, a public pool is very scary.
Like I
Oh,
think
gosh.
it's interesting that people don't make mention of the amount of boogers in a public pool, but they freak out about the pee. You will see people actually snort their nose out and wipe their hand and fling it in the water.
Oh, God.
So
Yeah,
gross.
it is. And I think someone told me once there's piece of poop floating in there, and I think I actually know someone that went swimming when she had diarrhea. No?
Ew.
I thought that was
Gross.
you. Didn't you tell me a story like
Yeah,
that?
but only in the ocean. That's
Oh, was it
different.
the ocean?
Yeah, because the waves take the stuff away.
Oh gosh.
Ew. That's
Oh.
disgusting.
Well, it might have been like a baby, like it came from a baby's diaper or
Oh
something. I
yeah,
don't
and
know.
those swim diapers do not contain everything. All right,
Oh, gosh.
roaring on to
Roaring on.
number 9. Never have I ever fallen asleep during sex.
Oh. No,
Cheryl
I
can't remember because she's 95.
because I fell asleep. How would I know? Um, I want to say no, but God, for this game, you have to be able to remember like your entire life. I don't, if I was 30, this would be easier. It would be an easier game if I was half my age. Um, I want to say no because I don't remember. I can't wait to hear your answer.
My answer is no.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, I
come
guess
on. That's something you would remember,
I don't know.
right? Or
Well,
your
I feel like
partner the next day would be like, hey, that was pretty hot last night when you started drooling and snoring while we were playing Put the Pole in the Hole. Jesus.
God. I know. I don't know why. I'm so like unsure. But no, and no, not that I can remember. Oh my gosh. I
Oh my
assume
gosh.
that all of these questions you can say yes to for some reason. That's how I
No,
feel.
I just randomly generated questions from AI.
Okay. No, no, a resounding no.
Okay. Good. That's good. All right. Number 10. Never have I ever paid more than $200 for a pair of shoes.
Um, I'm, mm, I'm gonna say I've never.
Even dancing shoes?
Yeah.
Shut up. Even those fuck me heels that you used to wear?
uh, no, honestly, I don't think. I think it's too hard. This game is too hard when you're old. Er, 'Cause
Oh,
I
even those orthopedic granny sandals that you're wearing?
I know those are
Tevas
expensive,
or Merrells or Chacos or whatever the fuck those things are called.
They're not $200. Yes, I do wear those. And I'm trying to remember like if I paid 250. But I'm gonna say no because I don't usually I don't, yeah, I can't find, I can't, I can't, I would not be able to buy a pair of shoes that were over $200, I think.
Okay. Well, I'm here
We
to
don't have to answer.
I'm here to tell you that yes, I have.
Oh,
Okay?
yeah, we already knew
And
that.
in my own defense, I don't make a practice of it. And but sometimes, you know, sometimes you're faced with a really nice looking pair of shoes and you try them on and they fit like a glove and they are beautiful and you just have to pay whatever the price tag is on them.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I can't. Was this in your younger days, your younger years?
I'm gonna
This was like last week.
I'm gonna take the fifth on that.
She has to take the fifth because her husband edits this podcast.
I don't feel comfortable talking about this but right now because I am trying to cut back.
Okay. Can you
Okay.
tell us what the most expensive pair of shoes you've bought? Not since you've been with Gabe, of course not. This was before you got married. What was the most expensive?
The most expensive pair of shoes that I ever bought before I got married was $275.
Okay.
So that's not so crazy.
Yeah, that's not so crazy. And somewhere in, like I said, in the recesses of my mind, I feel like 250 is looming out there. But I can't say for sure.
All
You have to be
right.
able to remember your entire life to play this game.
That's right. You do. And apparently, when you hit 60, you forget everything that happened before 59, except for punches and jingles. What was the name of those kids in Hawaii? Jungles and honey, rumbles and Snickers and Tuggy.
Punches and jingles. Oh my God. Checkers and pogo. Checkers and pogo. And hey, while we've been talking, you guys, Joy sent me a picture of them. And one of them does look like the skipper, but the other one looks like an old Gilligan. So they were both like white haired, but that was
look so crazy. If I saw those guys, I would run away. They look like active drinkers.
Yeah, they do. They look pretty scary. Oh my God. I'm going to call them punches and jingles.
So funny. All right. Roaring on to number 11. Never have I ever gone to a strip club.
I've never.
Even a male strip club?
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Good God.
Ever? You sound so disappointed.
How about a strip, but you've seen a stripper?
I've seen a stripper at someone's bachelorette party.
Huh. Who's someone?
Someone that's on this podcast.
God.
And it's not me. Yeah, I assume you did.
How about if it was a club and there were like girls wearing next to nothing dancing?
No.
Shut up.
Yeah, I'd go if I went to a club. It was to dance. Yeah, and it wasn't that kind of club. So it's I sense a theme here when you ask the question.
I used to try to get Cheryl to go dance with me all the time, and she never would.
No, I wouldn't hang out with her it took her years, you guys. So
she would have turned around and I would have been gone. She would have been like, wait, where'd she go?
You would have left me.
At the dance club.
I'm sensing a theme here. I answer no, I've never, that I can recall. And you have to count the number of times that you've done something. So how many strip clubs have you gone to?
Oh God. Well, first of all, at least a lot. I can't even tell you. But
Male or female?
they were always male strip clubs. And now I'm like, how did I find male strip clubs? Like, it's not like we didn't
Well,
have
back
the
in the
internet back
day.
then. So it's not like I was Googling, like, Siri, where's the nearest male strip
Oh my
club?
God, how did we find things
Well,
before the
so
internet?
in Portland,
The
there
yellow
was,
pages? Strippers
yeah,
are us?
Portland, there was this place called Darcel's, and it was like this great, like, it was a drag queen show, and it was so cool, called Darcel's. I don't know.
Mhm.
I think I don't know if it's still in business. I'm gonna have to look it up. And after the drag queen show, at that time it was just drag queens. There weren't any drag kings. But then a bunch of hot dudes would come out and strip. And the first time I accidentally found out, because I wasn't ready to go home yet and I was still having some cocktails, and then these dudes come out and start tearing their clothes off and like sitting in your lap and dancing, and I was like, what fresh hell is going on here? And then I was like, this is great.
Oh, see,
Um,
that wouldn't be fun to me. Have someone gyrating on me. And how far do they strip down?
uh to their, butt floss.
G-strings? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever gone to a male strip club where they're completely naked?
No, but for a friend who shall remain nameless, who I hired a stripper for their bachelorette party, we asked him outside before he came into the apartment how much would it cost if he took everything off, and he just said $20 extra. And I was like, "What?"
Deal.
I was joking around. I wasn't
Oh, and
being
he did it.
serious. He did it. I was like,
It's
that's
kind of
that's only
fun.
$20 more dollars.
And was it worth it?
I don't know. It wasn't my bachelorette party.
Yeah, but you
I
saw.
I can tell you, if I was that guy, I would have been seriously serious. Like, it was an apartment with like probably 50 screaming, drinking women. I would have feared for my safety. Like, he did have a bouncer with him though. I don't
Oh,
know what that bouncer
wow.
was going to do against all these crazy women, but
No, but that's good. That's some comfort. Your guy came solo.
that's what he said.
That took me
Okay.
a second too.
All right. Roaring on to number 12. Never have I ever, and the last question, never have I ever met someone famous.
Oh, you know that. You know the answer. Yes, I have because I worked
You
in the
met
industry.
lots of famous people. Let's hear all of them. Okay.
No, but
Cheryl's
I
met
have.
so many famous people. First of all, if you guys don't know this, Cheryl is something of a famous person herself. So there's that.
Oh, brother.
Okay. Number 2, she met a lot of famous people.
You already said that. Number 3, she met a lot of famous people.
Number 3, a lot of famous people have met Cheryl.
Yeah, in a lifetime long ago. How
Long,
about
long
you?
ago. Yeah, I have, but not what you would think. So, besides you and
Oh,
your friend
brother.
Sean, hey Sean, who is quite famous dancer in his own regard.
And
Remember, we went and
and
saw
singer.
him, and
And
remember
singer.
he was
He was
Angel in
yeah,
Rent.
Rent.
Um,
Hmm.
and we got to meet him. He was so awesome. And then I got to meet him again later on, and he remembered who I was. I was like, "Do you remember me? You're like so famous." And he's like, "Yeah, of course I remember you." He could have been lying. And then I managed to hold on to him the whole time I was there, which was like 3 or 4 hours, and annoy him with really, really stupid jokes.
Are
Anyway,
you? I don't remember that.
well, you were otherwise occupied. But anyway,
Okay.
he finally left. I'm sure he was like, I gotta get away from this
Did I-
woman. He's like, she talks too much. But anyway, I also got, when I was a child, I got a chance to meet some world leaders.
Oh,
That sounds crazy. It's the craziest thing I've ever said.
when and how?
Well, remember when I think I've talked about it before, I lived in Jamaica when I was a child. When the consul, the South Korean consul found out that there were children that were born in South Korea and that were half Korean living on the island, because it's a very small island country, he was quite taken with that and invited our family to the South Korean consulate many times to be guests of his and also to meet children of other consulates. So we got to meet the British consul, and he had children that were around our age. So we would hang out with these kids. And the majority of these children went to the international school where they spoke English to the kids. But we went to a local Jamaican school because my mom wanted us to have a real experience, immersive experience, which we did, and resulted in her not being able to understand a single thing we were saying. But it also got us the opportunity to like meet the Prime Minister of Jamaica and like other visiting prime ministers that would come to Jamaica on like foreign diplomatic trips. So I have to be honest, other than the Prime Minister of Jamaica, who, by the way, is now deceased, but we did get to meet him. I seem to recall we met several other people. I'm not going to say any names because it sounds crazy. Sounds absolutely crazy. I'll tell you about it later, Cheryl.
Okay. Oh, and our listeners are like, wah, wah,
what? Wah. Maybe what I'll do is I'll actually vet the story. Remember, it's like your Bubbles and Jingles story. Like you have to ask your sisters who actually got to meet Jingles and Bubbles. I'm going to vet the story with a sibling because I'm pretty sure that two of the people on the list are a big effing deal, but I just have to get the check mark before I shout the names out because I mean,
it might have been a fever dream.
That's right. I had dengue fever while we lived there, so maybe I just dreamt it. Anyway, guys, at the end of Never Have I Ever, Cheryl comes out with a whopping 6 points, and Joy comes out with an even more impressive 9 points. So out of 11 questions, Joy got 9, Cheryl got 6.
So who's the winner? Because it's Never Have I Ever, right? And
I don't know who the winner is, but I can tell you who the losers are. And the losers are those two people who deleted our podcast from their playlist on Spotify, which I can tell you right now is a big old fat fucking crime. But you know what else is a crime?
What's that, Joy?
That we are out of time.
Oh, we are out of time. Well, thank you for listening, everyone, and don't complicate your day. All creativity, commentary, and opinions in this podcast belong to Cheryl and Joy. Music composed and mixed by Gabe McKeon. Logo and merch managed by Cheryl Yamaguchi. Podcast editing, advertising, and social media managed by Joy McKeon. Legal representation provided by John Bojezic. Please like, subscribe, follow, and listen. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Audible.com, Amazon Music, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And remember, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok, or you can email us at murderandeverythingelse@gmail.com.
Bye, fishes.